We engaged Andy in a program for CIC about a year ago, and it was one of the most exhilarating, informative, productive meetings I've ever attended in this group. And that's saying something. There were probably 40 states represented. And I think everybody in that room came away with a lens for looking at the opportunities and constraints that they faced. And I'm still hearing feedback on how powerful that was. So that's a wonderful credit to you. This is not an easy group. Without further ado, I'd like to ask Andy to come up and take you through some Blue Ocean.
Blue Ocean Strategies, it's about market creating. I want you to think about how it could find the right folks to come to you. More of the same might not be the solution, but those 90% could use you. That's what Jeff said to me, right? You gave me a good setup. But why aren't they? And why don't they think of you as their solution? Do any of you go to classical concerts? That's about what's going on in this country, right? Struggling industry, only 20% of the US go to classical concerts, and that's down 3% and 3% and 3%. They're mostly older folks who go. There's 97% of first-time goers that never come back. This is not a growth industry. Research was done by all the classical concerts, and they weren't quite sure, what are we going to do about it? And it was fascinating. This is what they look like. And I always like this chart because you can see the empty seats and the gray hairs and the no hairs, and it's a very black kind of concert. Andre Rieu, any of you have seen him on BPS or maybe even in Chicago? I love to use him as an illustration because he was a star violinist, a prodigy. And he was in a Vienna orchestra, and every time he really performed, this is what he saw. People were sleeping. I can only tell you that when on the Hudson Valley Philharmonic we would actually talk about our program, the first piece was a sleep piece. What were we going to let them sleep through? Had to be short enough so they could take a nap, and then they keep going. When I go to the New York Philharmonic, they tell me to open my cough drop so I don't disturb the poor guy next to me who's taking a nap. But it is really a very interesting thing. But then he'd go to a rock concert. And this is what a rock concert looks like. I have to show you, because I couldn't tell you, I couldn't read you an article about what it was like. But a rock concert, nobody is sleeping. I had one guy say to me, I went to a Neil Diamond concert. I wanted to hear Neil Diamond. I love Neil Diamond. He said, I never heard Neil Diamond the whole night. The entire audience was singing Neil Diamond. It was a sing-along, right? It wasn't a concert, it was a sing-along, but nobody slept. Now let me show you what Andre Rieu did. There's something about his mix and match to take classical music and make it something completely different. But it's still classical music. Familiar and fun. People say, oh, it's simply in his hometown. Nope, everywhere he goes. And he gets them up dancing because the elements that he brings to life have done great things. He reversed everything. I'm going to show you how a reverse everything game can help you. He took classical music and popular music and crossed it over. This is not 4th of July in the Capitol lawn. It isn't come sit and listen to it outside. It's a whole different experience. He's focused on not adults, but young and old. You bring your kids. There's no way I could get my daughters to come to a classical concert except it was under duress. They had to really, really do me a favor. Funeral and a party. So very quickly, he broke all classical records. He was ranked number 9th, right behind Lady Gaga. Not exactly a competitor of his, a whole different market. He made $96 million in 2011. In 2012, he made $46 million. And the following years, he made $50 million and $50 million, and he makes $50 million every year. This is not someone who's going out of business because he has nobody attending, and they go out of their way to go. It's all about a different vision. He saw what people were doing in their seats, which was sitting there and moving, and he was trying to figure out how to do it. And when you hear him, people say, did he have a big idea? He took 12 of his friends and formed a Johann Strauss orchestra to play waltzes. And he invited people in to waltz, and they came. And next thing you know, he was going platinum with his DVD as a waltz king. And then, next thing you know, he's making $50 million, having people come across the world. I have a client in Texas who went to Salzburg and saw him, and he texted me back. He said, oh my God, he's better than you can imagine. He makes it fun. Could you make it fun? So the process is very visual. We're going to do a visual awakening and let you do a strategic canvas to begin to see yourself. You might as well shape the future instead of wait for it to shape you. And that's it for tonight. And thank you very much for the opportunity to be your speaker for tonight. Thank you so much.